and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It's time for the Sports Blitz, the only live-streamed local sports show in Arkansas with all the latest on the sports stories that matter to you.
Jam-packed Monday show. We've got high school football recaps from the weekend. We've got Arkansas Tech winning again, 4 games in a row for the Wonder Boys. The Arkansas Razorbacks coming off the bye week, favorites over Ole Miss. Looking at college football and then NFL recaps on a busy show today.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
Welcome in on a Monday to RiverValleyLeader.com, the River Valley Leader Studios. Mark Freeman, Weldon Braxton in studio. Weldon, we're never upset and never at a loss for topics on a Monday.
Oh, no, especially this Monday. We got the Arkansas Razorbacks getting set. We got high school games, conference decisions, and races coming down to the wire. We don't have enough time.
No, we definitely don't have enough time, and we didn't even mention the fact that there's a Game 7 tonight.
Yeah, Game 7 of the NLCS with the trip to the World Series against the Tigers on the line. So,
man, we better get after it. Obviously, we're going to talk about the NFL games of the week and our Honda of Russellville poll question that we've asked on Facebook.com/SportsBlitz is, after all the shakeup that's happened in the college football world, and we'll get to that here shortly, who's going to play in the national championship game? You know, who you may have had a different national championship than what you want to go with now. I had Alabama playing USC. Technically, that's still possible. I don't know that
you're
USC
in good shape.
is.
I'm not.
I don't know that USC is looking all that great, but I did have Alabama winning it all, so I'm not switching from that. But who's going to play in the national championship? We've already had a couple answers to that. We'll read your answers throughout the show as we get a little further on. But let us know what you think about the Razorbacks, what you think about anything that we talk about today. We'd love to hear from you today. You can text us in at the Dr. Dunn Specialty Clinic text box at 479-310-5620. I'm sorry, it's Dr. Dunn Wellness Consulting Clinic. I'm a rookie here. I messed up the...
Let's go, rookie. Step it up. Let's go.
Dr. Dunn Wellness Consulting Clinic text box. Let's just call it the Dr. Dunn text box. 479-310-5620. Let us know what you think about sports, what's on your mind, and we would love to hear from you. Let's start with local sports, brought to you by not Honda of Russellville. Who is bringing us local sports, Weldon? Somebody's prepared today. The Rack. The Rack Furniture Warehouse. You'll never forget the Rack now that I've botched that all to crazy.
You're good. You're good.
The Rack here in Russellville, right on Parkway there, they have provided us with the opportunity to bring you local sports. The Russellville Cyclones, Weldon, looking good heading into the playoffs, get a win, 48-22 over Little Rock Hall. The final score is a little bit misleading as Russellville just dominated this game from beginning to end.
That game was not even close. The score was 41-8 at halftime, and it really, Little Rock Hall scored on a play where they got a little outside leverage and they went down the sideline and scored. Russellville put this game away early, and I was happy to see it. And when you look ahead now for the Cyclones, they've got all the fluff teams out of the way. You're talking about the 2 best teams in the league coming up the next 2 weeks. You look at Southside this week on the road, and, of course, Greenwood. Greenwood has been putting it on people. They put it on Southside Friday. Actually, Southside was favored in that game, and Greenwood, they flat out didn't care. And now Russellville takes on a Southside team coming off that loss. I've gotten to watch the Rebels a little bit. Very solid team, best offensive line I've seen on tape so far. Quarterback, it's kind of like a Conway-style offense, a power spread, but their quarterback's more dynamic than Conway's. Cyclones have their hands full on defense, but I do think Russellville can put some points on the board. It's
going to be a shootout. If Russellville's going to win, they're hoping for a shootout. 48-22 winners with the Cyclones in the River Valley Leader featured game of the week. You can read about that Facebook.com/RVL News or RiverValleyLeader.com. Love to have you on over the site to check it out. The Pottsville Apaches just locking up the 4A4 right now. 33-0 winners over Maumelle. They play Boonville on the road this week. That's probably the biggest game they've got left because the week after they've got Waldron. Well, and it looks like the Apaches are well on their way to another unbeaten season. I don't necessarily want to say undefeated because last year they had a tie. So they weren't necessarily they were unbeaten. They were undefeated, but they didn't have a perfect record. This year it looks like they're trying to remedy that and go undefeated and have that perfect record. Pottsville 33-0 over Maumelle, and they have just looked like a juggernaut.
They have. They've looked really good. And what's impressed me about Pottsville, Mark, is this defense. We knew what Michael Perry and company at quarterback, what they were going to do on offense. Of course, their running game, it's effective. But the defense was the question. Early in the year, we wondered, okay, what's this Pottsville defense going to do? We know they lost some guys. They've played well. I think if you're really proud and excited about something, it's how they're stopping people. Because if they want to get back into the 4A playoffs, which of course they will, and go deep and possibly win the state championship, that defense is going to have to continue to play well as they face better defenses against that offense. But you talk about beating a team like Maumelle, 33-0. Maumelle, they've got athletes. They've won some games. And Pottsville was just dominant. I mean, they're definitely one of the top teams in 4A. I think right now I saw a ranking that had them 4th in the state. They live up to it. They may even be better than that. Can't wait to see Pottsville in the postseason.
Man, it's going to be exciting. And looking at the 4A rankings, it seems like everything – now, I haven't paid attention to every single week's rankings, but it seems like the rankings have kind of flip-flopped throughout the season. You've had Nashville and Arkadelphia up top and CAC somewhere in there. And then you've had Pottsville and the teams that are in it now. You've had Stuttgart,
and
Dollarway and Malvern. Yeah. But the one constant has been Pottsville.
Yeah.
Just right there, just steady as she goes. Now, the problem with this is that all these other teams are going to come in a lot more tested to the playoffs than Pottsville. But Pottsville, they bring back the same team they had last year, basically. They lost a couple guys to a playoff team that went to the quarterfinals and played against Pulaski Academy University in the in the playoffs. So they know what it's like. They know what to expect. They're not going to play a team that's as good as Pulaski Academy.
No, they're not. And the thing is, I think Coach Rust understands the bigger picture as well. And, again, we've talked about him facing other offenses. We know, this 4A4, it's mostly physical. It's mostly smash mouth, ground and pound. And Coach Rust, he's said over and over, we're ready for teams to spread us out. I mean, we know when we get to the postseason and see teams from other conferences, they're going to try to open it up, get guys in space, and we feel good about ourselves matching up against those types of teams. So I think Pottsville understands the grand picture and how things will go when they get outside of conference play.
Looking at the other games, Dardanelle won 17-7 over Subiaco Academy. They take on Maumelle on the road this week. That's a dangerous game for Dardanelle after Maumelle comes off of a tough loss, getting shut out by Pottsville. Morrilton beat Huntsville 49-6. They take on Harrison this week and on the road, and then they take on Clarksville in their final game. And those two teams are mentioned, Harrison and Clarksville, because it brings up the point of the next game. Clarksville Panthers. Clarksville Panthers get a win. They beat
Give them a hand.
Harrison 23-14. Congratulations to my alma mater, the Clarksville Panthers, on their first win of the season. 23-14 winners over the Goblins of Harrison. We don't really care for Harrison over there in Clarksville, but, man.
For a multitude of reasons.
It's a good feeling. Yeah. It's a good feeling. Anytime you can get a win when you've had such a tough season for the Panthers, man. They've had injuries, but they've more than anything, and they've had a lot of injuries, but that's not the excuse. They've just had trouble throughout the season. It's just offensive changes, defensive struggles, just everything has gone against the Panthers, and they get a win over Harrison. They take on Shiloh on the road this week. They've played Shiloh one time, if I'm not mistaken, and it was 83-14. And that was when it was in the playoffs several years ago when Clarksville thought they were really good, won a playoff game on the road, and then they went to Shiloh the next week thinking we're going to be in this game. It was 83-14, so that was a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Clarksville. First of all, they got a win, and then Shiloh Christian, they actually lost to Harrison. So maybe if you're doing the whole transitive property, maybe Clarksville can do something else here. Forget the fact that Harrison's not very good, and they've struggled. We know that. When you're a team like Clarksville and you just need a win. Doesn't matter who it's against, where it's at, what time it's played, and you get it. I mean, there's a sense of relief on that staff and that locker room. And we'll see what they do now with some confidence. I mean, this is the first time since the beginning of the year that they can go into a game feeling good about themselves. So I kind of want to see how Clarksville finishes things up.
I want to see how they play this week because they're going to play Shiloh, who, for all intents and purposes, they can play with. They're not going to beat Morrilton in the last game of the year. So they need to get their second win, which probably should be their third win. I don't know how they didn't beat Huntsville, but that's just neither here nor there. Clarksville's traveling to Shiloh this week. They close out their season against Morrilton the week after next. Atkins lost 28-0 to Paris. Don't really know what's going on with Atkins. I know they've lost their quarterback. I don't know if he missed the whole game or if he got hurt in the game or what happened, but Ty Enos was out, and Atkins lost 28-0 to Paris. They take on Lamar in the River Valley Leader featured game of the week this week. Atkins hosting Lamar. That one's going to be a fun one. Both teams with just 2 losses on the year and just playing very, very well so far on the season. Atkins at Danville the week after next. Lamar got a big 27-26 win over Danville, and they obviously will travel to Atkins this week to take on Paris in their last game of the year. Danville fell 27-26 to Lamar. They take on Paris on the road this week, and then they close out their season at Atkins. Hector beat Decatur 25-20 this week, and congratulations, by the way, to the Wildcats. They take on Midland this Friday night, and then next week against Johnson County Westside at home. Two Rivers won 39-7 over Bismarck. They travel to Benton Harmony Grove this Friday night, and then they take on Glen Rose to close out their season. Dover lost 49-14 to Booneville. They take on Waldron on the road this week. Got a chance to get a win, and then they close out at home against Subiaco. So we've got a lot of stuff going on this week. And Weldon, last week was a bunch of home games. This week is a bunch of road games.
Yeah, a lot of teams on the road. And it's that time of year, Mark. There's only 2 games left in the regular season. Playoff positioning is what's paramount right now. You've got teams jockeying some conference title implications. Pottsville looks like they're on their way to getting the job done. Russellville, they've got a handful of scenarios that could happen. They've got a tough couple of games against Southside and Greenwood. And then you look at Atkins. Atkins is a team I'm hoping they get back on track. Really no shame in losing to Paris. Paris only 2 losses on the year, but in the fashion that they did, you kind of wonder, you hope they get it going again.
Yeah, and you kind of expected it was an injury or something like that caused that collapse there from Atkins, because they were rolling. They beat Charleston, and it looked like they were on pace to win conference and do very well. And then 2 straight losses, really disconcerting for Red Devils fans. But again, they've got the game of the week this week. They want to get things right against Lamar. Lamar is not a team to take lightly by any means. They are a tough-minded team, and they got a win over Danville on Friday night. So they're going to come into Limley Field, I believe that's what Atkins Field's called. And they're going to put it to Atkins. If they can beat them, they're going to beat them. They're not going to take it easy. They're not going to take it lightly. If Atkins has a hurt quarterback, they're going to come after him regardless.
Oh, no question. You look at Lamar, this is a team that they just grind it out and they just find ways to win. I mean, they've got some handle victories on their resume. They've won, they beat Western Yale pretty bad, but other than that, they've played tight games. 4-point win over Mansfield, only beat Cedarville by a couple of scores. 1-point win over Danville, and you can look at that and say, okay, they're not a dominant team. But the way I see it is, this team knows how to keep games close, and when they do, fourth quarter, they find ways to win. You can't overlook that, and that may come into play against Atkins.
The final game of our Rack Furniture Warehouse local sports segment we want to take a look at is the Arkansas Tech Wonder Boys taking on UA Monticello. The Arkansas Tech Wonder Boys got a 4th straight win as they won on a goal line stand, 24-21 against the Boll Weevils. Looking at some stats here, Tanner Marsh had 12 rushes for 59 yards and a touchdown as the quarterback. Passed for 19 of 29 for 192 yards. It was a tough game through the air for him, but he had a decent enough game there on the ground. And Tech, you can't talk enough about their toughness and the fact that they've won 4 games in a row here. The Wonder Boys, 24-21 winners over UAM. It looks like they bounced back well.
Yeah, they did. And Tech, they've gotten on a little bit of a roll now. and you just wonder, how do they keep doing it? I mean, they win in a sort of a last-second goal line situation. Then you have the back-to-back 17-point deficits that they had to overcome. So Tech's just finding a way to get it done. It may not be pretty, it may not be flashy, but you know what? The mark goes on the left side of the column as far as wins and losses, and that's ultimately what matters.
Yeah, that's Arkansas Tech, man. I'm very proud that the Wonder Boys have figured it out. At the beginning of the season, you wondered, from the couple of games that I went to, I wondered what in the world they were going to do, especially that Henderson game, the third week of the season. They come off a loss to Missouri S&T, who they were, by all intents and purposes, expected to beat, and then Henderson State scores 73 on Arkansas Tech. And since then, now I know they lost to Ouachita Baptist, who's a top 10 team in the country. Well, now I think they're knocked down a little bit, but they were a top 10 team in the country, and they held them to 31 points. It was 31-24. But since then, it's just been new life for Arkansas Tech. 41-20 winners over Northwest Oklahoma State, 45-38 winners, overcoming a 17-point deficit to Southeast Oklahoma, 45-37 winners over Southwestern Oklahoma, overcame another 17-point deficit, and then 24-21 winners over UA Monticello. So the Wonder Boys doing very well so far. Well, I say so far. Toward the end of the season, they look to close out in a positive way, and we are glad that they're doing such. Let's go to break real quick. When we come back, we've got plenty to talk about. We're going to hear from John L. Smith. We're going to look at our NFL games of the week and our college football games of the week. Stay with us.
Set your sights on savings right now at Honda of Russellville. We're offering our best deals of the year on remaining 2012 Honda ATVs, plus special introductory offers on select new 2013 Honda ATVs, all with zero down and easy monthly payments with approved credit. Be sure to check out the all-new Honda Foreman 4x4, now stronger, smarter, and harder working. How about a side-by-side? Well, Honda's got you covered with the Big Red. Honda's Big Red offers a proven Honda engine, automotive-style Honda automatic transmission with no belts to slip or break. Come in for a test ride today at Arkansas's legendary Honda dealer, Honda of Russellville.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Sports Scene of Arkansas offers a wide variety of sporting goods and apparel to meet any athlete's needs. Coaches love the top-of-the-line equipment that gives their players an edge, and parents and fans can't get enough of the high-quality screen printing that allows them to sport their favorite team's logo on jerseys, bags, and hats. Your one-stop shop for embroidery, banners, and much, much more. Visit your local team sports specialists. Sports Scene at 316 West Main in Russellville.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
Game 7. There's no better words for a sports fan in the world, unless you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan. You hope that you got it done 2 games ago.
Yeah.
Game 7. St. Louis Cardinals, San Francisco Giants looking to go to the World Series. And this is the tiebreaker in the NLCS, man. Tonight at 7 o'clock, who's pitching, you say?
The 2 aces, Kyle Loesch and Matt Cain, back on the mound.
So. And Matt Cain didn't do too well last time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I mean, and Kyle Loesch is going for the Cardinals. And you look at how the Giants got back into this series. Remember, Cardinals up 3-1. Then Barry Zito takes the mound for the San Francisco Giants. We've talked about Zito. He hadn't lived up to his contract. He struggled, 34 years old. Out of nowhere, gives him 7 strong innings to get him back in the series. And then Ryan Vogelsong, 35-year-old, he's pitched well in the playoffs. He pitches the Giants to a tie. It's now 3-3, Game 7. And I'm just looking at San Francisco getting contributions from the older guys. Not Tim Lincecum, not necessarily Matt Cain, but a 34, 35-year-old pitching them back in the series. If you're a Cardinals fan, you got to look at Matt Holliday. He was scratched with a back injury. Not sure how healthy he's going to be. That could be huge in tonight's Game 7.
Yeah, is he going to play? That's the question.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've seen an answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's unless something's come on the wire.
Let me look real quick and see if we've got any news on him, because if he's not playing, that's a big
Oh yeah, it does. And
hit to the Cardinals.
And you do have to give the Giants some credit as well. When we came on, we talked about St. Louis and how great and clutch they are, and they are. They still are that team. But we can't ignore the San Francisco Giants. I mean, St. Louis, the defending world champions. San Francisco Giants won the world championship before that. And, I mean, we can't necessarily ignore that. Tim Lincecum still hasn't been Tim Lincecum. He's not on the mound tonight.
What in the world happened to him, by the way?
It's one of those – with Lincecum, you could kind of see this coming because he broke into the league, he's got the quirky mechanics. He's not a big guy anyway. He's kind of small, quirky mechanics. At some point, though, you think, well, is it grinding on him? Is it wearing on him? Kind of like Roy Oswalt. Roy Oswalt wasn't a huge guy, kind of had explosive mechanics, hard on the joints and stuff. And, Lincecum's not that old, but just kind of wonder, has he kind of lost his mojo and as far as his mechanics? But, yeah, the freaky franchise, as he calls himself, he's gone downhill a little bit.
Big time Timmy Jim.
Yeah, big time Timmy Jim.
Not playing too well recently. I was wondering about that. When he came in to pitch out of the bullpen, I was like, what? Because I don't watch a whole lot of baseball. And they said, he'd been coming out of the bullpen because he'd struggled starting. And then he started, I guess, Game 3 or Game 4.
He started
Game 3.
Yeah. And it seemed like he had gotten his mojo going a little bit, but again, he didn't really give a great effort in his last start. But Matt Cain hadn't been sensational, but if you're going to go down, you're going to want to have your ace on the mound anyway. Clearly, Matt Cain is that for the Giants. Kyle Loesch, of course, pitching well for St. Louis. If it gets to a bullpen game, which a lot of times, low-scoring, tough series like these, they'll get into the bullpen. St. Louis has a huge advantage. If you're a Cardinals fan, you definitely want this to be a bullpen game, and if so, you got to like their chances.
All right, no real news here so far from the Twitter scene as far as Matt Holliday for the Cardinals, but either way, it's a huge game tonight. Like you said, both of these teams excel in these situations, and tonight at 7 o'clock, you're going to get to see the Cardinals take on the Giants with a chance to go take on the Detroit Tigers in the World Series. We'll have somebody on Wednesday that's a baseball expert. We know you guys, somebody somewhere likes baseball, and they want to talk about the World Series, and we need to oblige you there. If we're talking about football or basketball, we're the guys to talk to, or I am. Weldon likes some baseball, so he can fill you in a little bit more, but there's plenty of other stuff going on the wire, Weldon. Looks like Lance Armstrong has been stripped of his 7 tour titles.
Yeah.
I thought that had already been done, but the UCI agrees to uphold the verdict and strip Lance Armstrong of his 7 Tour de France titles. And it also looks like, Livestrong and Nike have distanced themselves from him. And Lance Armstrong went from one of the most beloved athletes in the world to a nobody in less than a year.
No real surprise. I mean, we saw the evidence coming down, Lance Armstrong electing not to fight things, and that, of course, set off a chain reaction, lost his endorsements, basically forced to step down as the chairperson of the Livestrong charity. And once you have these allegations and then new evidence coming down supporting those allegations, and then you choose not to refute it, basically an admission of guilt, then that's when the cycling administration comes in and they look and say, well, all right, it's time to strip your tours. But again, that's this sport. I can't even tell you who the last handful of tour winners are, even in the post-Lance Armstrong era, because it seems like a few months after the race they get stripped. I mean, Floyd Landis, we remember that case. That's just the nature of this sport, and I'll say it one more time. Not excusing Lance for cheating and lying and deceiving people, but it was the nature of this sport. It really doesn't sway me either way. I mean, sure, take the tours away, can't argue with that, but it just doesn't bother me like a baseball or a football PED case, because that's this sport. I mean, you riding on your bike, look to your left, look to your right. Good chances both, not one, both people on each side of you are doping as well. You know, it's just the dirtiest sport in all the sports.
And, you know, we could say that about nearly every sport because somebody's trying to find a way to cheat in every sport. But cycling is the worst about that.
Oh, yeah.
We've asked today on the poll question, and I know we're going to get to it here in just a minute, but today's Honda of Russellville poll question, after all the poll shakeups, who will play in the BCS National Championship game? If you've got thoughts on this, Lance Armstrong, the World Series, just the baseball playoffs in general, hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/sportsblitz or facebook.com/RVL News. Let us know what you've got to say today. Also, you can hit us on the Dr. Dunn text box at 479-310-5620. We'd love to hear from you today. We've got Gator Fan here on Google Voice. I wonder who that is, saying props to Florida now. I guess it's about time that we give Florida their props.
Hey, I picked Florida to win the game, so
Well,
I really don't want to hear that. But Florida's impressive because now I look at them, and they've almost taken on a San Francisco 49er type look, especially to this offense. I mean, the power running game is for real, and what they do, and why I compare them to the 49ers, is they do it out of multiple formations, and they do it out of multiple ways of running the ball. They trap, they zone, they ISO. They do everything in the running game. They'll move tight ends. They'll go heavy formation. Driscoll, while he's still not an elite passer, he's getting better throwing the football, and they just put it on South Carolina. And you and I agree. We thought Florida would win this game, but to that degree.
Yeah, 44-11.
44-11. South Carolina just falling apart, basically out of the SEC East race now. The Gators taking on Georgia in Jacksonville. We know that's always a big neutral site game. Florida's rolling right now. You got to give them credit.
Yeah, we definitely have to give the Gators credit. I didn't think that their offense was very good, and what I said on Friday, I said that I picked Florida to win the game, but mostly, if I'm being honest, it was because I didn't think Marcus Lattimore was going to play or play much. He didn't.
Right.
But I don't think it would have mattered. I mean, he might have been able to make a little bit of difference on the offensive side of the ball, but Florida had, 21 points on 25 total yards or something like that in the first half.
Yeah.
Just a dominating performance on all sides of the ball. You know, the first play of the game, Connor Shaw drops back, doesn't see the corner come and knock the ball out, and Florida's got the ball on the 1 yard line. It just seemed like that was the way the game went all day long.
And this brings up a bigger point. I saw you tweeted about it, and it really raises the question about Steve Spurrier. He has yet to find a quarterback situation that he's comfortable with. I mean, he had Blake Mitchell early. Blake Mitchell wasn't that good. You say, okay, Steve eventually will get his guy. Thought it was Garcia at first, found out he's a head case. Connor Shaw looked to be the alternative. He's not much better. Then you look at Thompson. I don't have much hope for him either. I understand Steve saying, okay, look, we can't fun and gun it because I'm not getting the elite Florida-type receivers and picking anybody I want like I did in the 90s. I got to go with more defense. I got to have a great pass rush, and he's done that. But you would think at some point now, South Carolina being a perennial 9-10 win team, that he could start attracting some of these offensive weapons, some of these quarterbacks to get back to where he wants to go, because the old ball coach is struggling right now, and I think part of it's on him going with the times, and part of it is these guys aren't talented. Steven Garcia, Connor Shaw, I can't look at them and say, man, they could really play, but Steve's holding them back. He's got to evolve. He's got to get better quarterbacks to get back to what he wants to be.
And that's where I think it's his fault. He's Steve Spurrier. You know, how many national championships did he win?
He only got one.
I thought he got two.
He got close a lot.
Either way, he won a national championship, and he's Steve Spurrier. He's the old ball coach. He's the face of South Carolina athletics right now. He's got to be able to recruit better than this.
Yeah, that's where
you got the number one player in the country on defense, so you obviously haven't done too terribly.
Right.
But he obviously just can't coach quarterbacks because you see what Bobby Petrino did with Casey Dick when he came in. The huge difference in just a few months, And everybody thought, well, it's just Casey Dick. But Casey Dick looked awesome in that first year, for Arkansas quarterbacks. So I think it's just Steve Spurrier is not a quarterback.
So he's lost it, huh?
Which is ironic because he was a quarterback. So
he won the Heisman as a quarterback. He had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. He had good quarterbacks early on in his career there at Florida, but he just hasn't had it at South Carolina, like you said, and it may be recruiting, but I think he's got to have some blame in it because he's so stubborn offensively.
He's got to, and he's tried to go to this. Well, we got to run the ball more, and he used to be a quarterback guy. I mean, it was one of those things where I agree with you guys. He hasn't evolved because Danny Warfel, Doug Johnson, Jesse Palmer. They're not in the NFL Hall of Fame. I mean, clearly he had something going getting mediocre-type quarterbacks ready, and you would think that, Connor Shaw, and I know Garcia had a lot of other issues, you would think he could get this thing going as far as throwing the ball. Even with Alshon Jeffrey, a big-time receiver, still not an elite passing game. You just wonder.
A couple other games of note. LSU won 24-19 over Texas A&M. We predicted – did you predict LSU in that one?
Yeah,
I think we both did. We both had LSU in that one. We both had Notre Dame close over BYU. You did have a moment upset alert, and that was a good call because BYU was ahead for a lot of this game, and Notre Dame had to hold on for dear life. Alabama 44-13, winners over Tennessee. I found it interesting that it looks like Nick Saban has beaten Tennessee 3 times in a row by 31 points. That's just he doesn't want to beat them worse than that. He just just name his score. Just that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But the biggest game of the week to me, and we've kind of buried the lead here, 55-14, the Kansas State Wildcats over the West Virginia Mountaineers. What in the world has happened to your Heisman Trophy winner, and what in the world has happened to West Virginia? Dana Holgerson's career path is going wee.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. I had West Virginia winning the Big 12, had them in the championship game, and a lot of it had to do with I didn't have a lot of faith in the Big 12, but West Virginia's offense. Okay, last week against Texas Tech, I said, all right, bad game. You have a high-risk, high-reward offense. You're going to have some clunkers. They'll get it together. They didn't. Kansas State and Colin Klein ran them off the field. And people want to blame this West Virginia defense. Sure, their defense is awful. They can't even stop water. But you know me, I always blame the strength of a team when a team isn't playing well. And I got to blame Geno Smith and Dana Holgorsen. They flat out have not gotten it done. I don't know if Dana Holgerson's been hitting up the bar like he used to or what, but something is going on with them. They're off the track. West Virginia's not sniffing anybody's championship. I'm off that pick. And while we're talking championship, I got to give it to your Alabama team. I watched them Saturday, and there are a lot of teams that have good players and are well coached, but even those teams you can count on doing a couple of things every game. They're going to beat themselves. A stupid interception, a dumb fumble. Alabama does not beat themselves. And when you're well coached, talented, and you don't beat yourself, it's hard to deal with. And now A.J. McCarron, he's not some John Parker Wilson, McElroy caretaker. He's a quarterback.
He's going to win the Heisman.
He very well. He would probably get my vote right now, even over Colin Klein.
He's going to win the Heisman.
Even over. I mean, people like Klein, Optimus Klein got the momentum. A.J. McCarron is a talent. John Parker Wilson and Greg McElroy, they're not NFL caliber talents. I mean, they're in the league, but they're not doing anything. A.J. McCarron's a player, and he's in that Nick Saban system. Alabama looks good, which I got to get to my LSU Tigers real quick.
Go ahead.
I've adopted them. Everybody saw, Johnny Football's running all over LSU. What's going on? A&M is good. They're going to score 40. How many times have we seen a spread offense against an SEC defense have success early and then get shut down? Saw it with Texas and Alabama in the championship game. I know Colt McCoy got hurt, but Alabama was figuring that out.
Yeah, they weren't going to win.
Johnny Football, please. Once they figured him out, I wasn't worried about that. This LSU offense, though, they're pathetic. I'm losing faith in them. Not letting them go yet, losing some faith in them.
Well, LSU, to me, it just showed the class warfare that takes place in the SEC. You've got this echelon, and you've got this echelon.
That's true.
And it really is probably split up even deeper than that. LSU, Alabama, Florida. I don't know if you want to put South Carolina in there right now at this point. They're just a class. Alabama's a class by themselves,
Yeah.
and then everybody else right below them. You could argue Florida's up there with Alabama, and I believe they'll take one another on in the SEC championship game. But it's just things are separating themselves, and LSU showed Texas A&M just like Georgia showed Missouri. You're not ready yet. You may be in the SEC, but you're not SEC yet. We asked today on the Sports Blitz Facebook poll question, facebook.com/sportsblitz. Today's Honda of Russellville poll question: after all the poll shakeups, who will play in the BCS National Championship game? Robert Ash. Who would you imagine he would say would play in the national championship
I don't
game?
think he's got Alabama in the
I think
national
he's got Alabama and Oregon. Isn't that what no, he
I
says
doubt it.
Florida in all caps and Oregon. I guess he's picking Florida to win it. Nathan Myers says Bama, Oregon. Corey Williams says Bama and Oregon as of now. Jason Walker says Bama and Oregon. That seems to be the consensus as of right now. Notre Dame, Jason Walker says, will lose this week to Oklahoma, which I will be rooting very hard. Because I don't want Notre Dame to play in the BCS championship game or a BCS game at all, for that matter. I don't really have any reason for it. I just don't like them. Kansas State will lose to Texas Tech. I really hope Kansas State loses a game or two, just because I watched them play last year in the Cotton Bowl, and they're not that good. They're not as good as they're playing right now. They're playing teams that aren't very good, and they're beating them. I think that they're going to lose at some point. He says Kansas State will lose to Texas Tech, Texas, or TCU, and he thinks Florida loses to Bama in the SEC title game. I agree with that. Possibly to Florida State and Tallahassee. I don't think that's going to happen. But he said, I would love to see Bama and Florida for the whole shebang as a rematch, but I don't see them letting that happen again unless some other teams fall out in the SEC championship game. Is very competitive.
Yeah, there's a lot of
That'd
football.
be nice, but it's not going to happen.
That'd be nice. There's a lot of football to be played. I mean, even Oregon, they've got USC probably 2 more times this year.
Yeah.
And you look at Alabama, they've still got LSU, they've still got Florida possibly in the championship game of the SEC. I mean, you look at Notre Dame's got tough games. Kansas State has tough games. A lot still to be decided.
Yeah, we've got plenty left to decide today on the show. We've got NFL, little NBA. Opening season is opening week of the season here is in about 2 weeks. Looks like a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit to look at. The new look Lakers finally took the floor last night.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval with Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where we have the largest selection of recliners and mattresses in the state of Arkansas. Come visit us at 2609 East Parkway, the Rack Furniture Warehouse.
Set your sights on savings right now at Honda of Russellville. We're offering our best deals of the year on remaining 2012 Honda ATVs, plus special introductory offers on select new 2013 Honda ATVs. All with 0 down and easy monthly payments with approved credit. Be sure to check out the all-new Honda Foreman 4x4, now stronger, smarter, and harder working. How about a side-by-side? Well, Honda's got you covered with the Big Red. Honda's Big Red offers a proven Honda engine, automotive-style Honda automatic transmission with no belts to slip or break. Come in for a test ride today at Arkansas's legendary Honda dealer, Honda of Russellville.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval again at Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where Leon and I are back in business. We have gallery selection at quality warehouse prices here at the Rack Furniture Warehouse, 2609 East Parkway, Russellville.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
It doesn't matter what you're looking for, chances are Good Deal Charlie Discount Furniture has it. From living room, bedroom, and dining furniture to one-of-a-kind pieces, Good Deal Charlie has everything. The staff is pleasant and always friendly, so you'll feel no pressure to buy. With new and used furniture for your home or office, you can find everything you need at the best possible prices at 2209 East Main Street in Russellville. Good Deal Charlie.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
All right, we're back.
I was going to say, you want me to take it? You're a little busy over there.
No, we got this. We got this.
All right.
Thank you for joining us today. RiverValleyLeader.com. Oh, Mark Freeman, Weldon Braxton in studio. You guys have got to watch the show. I hope you're not just listening via your phone. You got to watch so you can see all the fun stuff that happens during breaks, like me eating a Snickers and trying to talk. Man, well, we went through the college football games of the week, but there were some NFL games that caught our interest as well. Obviously, our Cowboys winning. That's a big one, 19-14 over Carolina. Some questionable calls. I know some Carolina fans were tweeting that Carolina was getting hosed, and they kind of did in a little bit of a way there.
Yeah.
But I don't care because Dallas gets it every single week, and I don't, when they lose, I'm mad, and when they win, I'm happy. I don't care if they had to cheat to do it. But the Cowboys got a win over Carolina, and today Carolina fired their GM.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Cam Newton yesterday said something's got to change, and, well, they did something. Well, I want to talk about Carolina. We don't talk enough Carolina Panthers on this show. We just start making this a Panthers-driven show. I'm just kidding. But Cam Newton.
If it's the Clarksville Panthers, I'm all right with that.
We only got an hour. We can talk Clarksville all day.
All day.
But here's the thing. Cam Newton is starting to concern me because it's not so much that he's been inconsistent on the field. It's his post-game demeanor. We've already talked about his sideline demeanor. It's sort of a slouch. I'm frustrated. Leave me alone. Not displaying what you need to display as a leader. Now, Cam's a straight-from-the-heart kind of guy. I know he's speaking straight. What he feels is what he says. But when you're the leader, you got to understand what you say has gravity. It has weight. You got to understand when you get up there in front of that microphone with that attitude of, something's got to change. This is frustrating. It carries over to your team. You got to understand the power you have as a quarterback of that team. You got to change his attitude because he got off to a good start his rookie year, but late in his rookie year and all of this year, he hadn't been that good.
No, he's a frustrated child.
That's what he acts like.
That's what he's acting like. He's acting like a child. And, when things stop coming easy for people that they've come easy for their whole life, things just don't go well. He doesn't know how to have that work ethic. And I say this, I've not been to the Carolina facilities, and I don't know if he's working hard or not.
I think he's putting the work in. He's just not used to losing.
I know people like this.
Yeah.
Who have had it come easy for them their whole lives, and I'll speak in generalities and not necessarily in into this direct situation, but I know people who have had things come easy for them their whole lives, and when it stops coming easy for them, sometimes they're not willing to put in that effort, or they're wondering what in the world. It's got to be somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
And Cam Newton, at this point, I know there probably is a lot of blame to go around. He has Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams who are supposed to be very good, and they're not.
Yeah.
He's got an offensive line who, I guess his best offensive lineman's hurt. He's got an old wide receiver as his best player. He doesn't really have a whole lot to work with, but it looked pretty good last year at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So, to me, there's something is wrong, and I don't think it's the GM's fault.
Yeah, I don't think it's the GM's fault.
He drafted him.
I mean, you got to understand you're not going to come into the NFL and win like you did at Blinn Junior College, win like you did at Auburn just all by yourself. You can't do that in the NFL. And Cam, I think Cam's working. I've heard NFL people talk about how much work he's putting in, but you just got to understand struggles are part of it. I don't care how physically gifted you are. You're going to go through some lumps. Remember, this is still a young team, so the defense is still kind of young. Cam's just got to suck it up and grow.
Yeah, that's got to be I guess that's the consensus of what's going to have to happen in Cam Newton's career. Houston, 43-13 winners over the Baltimore Ravens. Our power rankings that we'll bring to you on Wednesday, they will reflect that. I promise you that. I think that the Baltimore Ravens have quit.
Yeah.
They got all the injuries. I know they got T. Sizzle back and Terrell Suggs played, but no Ray Lewis, an injured, and it was very sneaky the way Ed Reed threw that in there about how I've got a torn labrum in my shoulder, but I'm not a pitcher, so it's not a big deal. I'm just going to play through it. That way, if he ever misses a tackle or if he ever misses a play, he's got a torn. He's injured. He's out there just battling like a warrior. But at the same time, Joe Flacco had a .3 QBR. 1 to 100, he had a .3 QBR yesterday. Something about the Ravens to me just stinks right now.
Remember that Joe Flacco is he elite conversation that was going on? Yeah, I wonder what the poll numbers are on that this morning.
We had a talk the other day, me and Maddie, about would you take Flacco over Tony Romo? And it was a list of people that you would take over Tony Romo, right. 1 to 10, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't fill out a list of 10 guys that I would take over Romo.
No matter how much they try, they're trying to put the ball in Joe Flacco's hands and say, "Here, Joe, be our Tom Brady, be our Aaron Rodgers, our Drew Brees. Let us ride you to a championship." And it's just not there. Joe Flacco's good. He's talented. He can play. But when you have Ray Rice, there's no need to just say put it in his hands, because Ray Rice had 5 fantasy points, and then it really hurt my fantasy team that I had him on because I got destroyed. And the Houston Texans, I got to give them credit. You're AFC champions. Still looking at them in the playoffs, I got an eye on them, saying, okay, you may go 13-3. I want to see you in the playoffs, but they destroyed the Ravens, Mark, and now the Ravens kind of losing a little bit of ground. They're still good record-wise, but the Steelers won over the Bengals. Steelers starting to get a little more healthy, playing better. Ravens better get it together. Looking
at a couple other interesting games, and you can find some games that you think are interesting. Yeah. Let us know what you think, Facebook.com/SportsBlitz, as far as games of the week. But to me, the 2 games that stuck out, New York Giants beat the Fighting RG3s 27-23, just a back-and-forth game with a minute and a half left, I think it was. RG3 throws the touchdown pass to looks like it's going to win the game, and it comes back to Eli Manning once again, finds Victor Cruz 70-some-odd yard touchdown pass to win that game. And then the New England Patriots in overtime, 29-26 over the New York Jets. That one was a crazy end, too, because the Patriots just didn't play very well.
They didn't play well, and, of course, every time the Jets do anything, it's big talk. The game, of course, Mark, for those who didn't see it, went into overtime. With the new overtime rules, if you get the ball first and you kick a field goal, the other team has a chance to have possession of the ball. And if they score a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, then the game continues. Patriots kicked a field goal, Jets marching to try to tie or win the game. Mark Sanchez fumbled, and now the talk. Oh, Sanchez, he just doesn't have the intangibles. He's just not clutch. He just fumbled it away. And all we have to hear about all this, I'm tired of the New York Jets. They're not very good. People need to just leave them where they're at. I want to look at this. I want to look at the game you talked about earlier as far as the I'm trying to think which one it was. The Giants, RG3. Sensational. Hasn't looked like a rookie yet. I kind of thought that Giants pass rush may bring him down to earth a little bit. Didn't quite happen.
Didn't do it.
I mean, they made plays they forced some turnovers, but RG3 still played well. Eli Manning's the most clutch quarterback in the game. He's not beautiful the way he does it. He'll have some picks in there, but when it's time, man, he just gets it done.
Yeah, I liked what I saw from Robert Griffin III, 20 of 28 for 258 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 9 carries for 89 yards. The guy is he puts up video game numbers every week. But Eli Manning, 26 of 40 for 337 yards and a touchdown. Just incredible how when it comes down to crunch time, there's not any you can tell when you look at him. He doesn't, man, I'm not worried about it. He's got that Matt Jones, whatever.
Even when he's not playing well. See, a lot of times it's not a smooth 300-yard game, no perks in the way. He'll have 2 or 3 picks and then say, all right, that never happened. Now it's time to play.
Just go ahead and throw a touchdown pass and win the game.
It's something.
It was very interesting to watch yesterday. The NFL has been a treat, man. It's been incredible so far this season. And tonight we've got at 7:30 Monday Night Football, Detroit at Chicago. Unless the Detroit Lions score about 300 points tonight, I'm going to win in fantasy in 2 leagues. I'm very happy about that. I'm going to lose in 1 league that's kind of a pride league for me, and then I'm actually going to go 3-1 this week in fantasy football. So I'm not too upset with that.
Yeah, nice. I think I'm going to go about 3-3 this week, maybe 4-2, depending on how some things go. But looking at this Lions-Bears game, Mark, these I kind of look at this as our head-to-head. You got the Lions, I got the Bears. Our playoff team, something's got to give. I didn't have the Lions in. You had Chicago out. We'll see what happens. My Bears looking pretty good right now.
All right, let's hit our last break. We'll come back, and we'll talk some Arkansas Razorbacks. Come off a bye week, and now they've got a chance to take on Ole Miss, and they're the favorite.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval with Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where we have the largest selection of recliners and mattresses in the state of Arkansas. Come visit us at 2609 East Parkway, the Rack Furniture Warehouse.
Set your sights on savings right now at Honda of Russellville. We're offering our best deals of the year on remaining 2012 Honda ATVs, plus special introductory offers on select new 2013 Honda ATVs. All with 0 down and easy monthly payments with approved credit. Be sure to check out the all-new Honda Foreman 4x4, now stronger, smarter, and harder working. How about a side-by-side? Well, Honda's got you covered with the Big Red. Honda's Big Red offers a proven Honda engine, automotive-style Honda automatic transmission with no belts to slip or break. Come in for a test ride today at Arkansas's legendary Honda dealer, Honda of Russellville.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval again at Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where Leon and I are back in business. We have gallery selection at quality warehouse prices here at the Rack Furniture Warehouse, 2609 East Parkway, Russellville.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Sports Scene of Arkansas offers a wide variety of sporting goods and apparel to meet any athlete's needs. Coaches love the top-of-the-line equipment that gives their players an edge, and parents and fans can't get enough of the high-quality screen printing that allows them to sport their favorite team's logo on jerseys, bags, and hats. Your one-stop shop for embroidery, banners, and much, much more. Visit your local team sports specialists. Sports Scene at 316 West Main in Russellville.
AR Sports present the 2012 River Valley Football Magazine, featuring profiles of local high school football teams, as well as college football previews and player spotlights. Professional photography accompanies top-notch writing throughout to bring you the best locally focused publication in Arkansas. You'll enjoy special tributes to local legends Jerry Aiken and Don Sevier, as well as an exclusive interview with Razorback all-time great Clint Sterner in this year's magazine. Available at fine establishments throughout the River Valley. Pick up your copy of River Valley Football Magazine today.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
CC.
Looking at the Twitter wire real quickly, we don't have a whole lot of time left. Mark Freeman, Weldon Braxton on the Sports Blitz here on a Monday. Jason Carroll tweets that Arkansas-Tulsa, the homecoming game on November 3rd, will be an 11:21 kick on the SEC Network. Arkansas taking on Mississippi, the Ole Miss Rebels, in Little Rock on Saturday. It's another 11:21 kickoff on the SEC Network. That's the benefit. I say the benefit. That's what happens when you lose 4 games in a row in the middle of the season. You get pushed to those crappy 11:21 kickoffs. Of course, for the team, they probably hate it, and for the people who are really wanting Arkansas to get a lot of eyeballs on them, they hate it. But I kind of enjoy the 11 o'clock kickoff.
I think so, too. And believe it or not, I think a lot of players do as well. You know, I heard Barrett Jones with Alabama All-American, everything, plays center, tackle. He said, look, I hate these night games. We have to sit around all day, and coaches want us off our feet, and I don't like it. You know, Arkansas, it's not a huge magnitude game that you want to be hyped up for all day anyway. It's 11, get it done, and you can go out and do whatever you want the rest of the day. I'm good with it.
It's the next 2 games at least. We'll have the Razorbacks playing early. Probably that South Carolina game, if Arkansas can win these next 2, it'll be a decent enough game. It may be a later in the evening game. It won't be a 2:30 game on CBS by any means. But that LSU game, if Arkansas is to keep going, that might end up being of a little bit more importance toward the end of the year. But we heard from John L. Smith on the I guess his press conference. We were going to play that audio for you, but we decided against it. He basically said that they needed this last week, the bye week, to get healthy. They needed Chris Gregg to get healthy. They needed some guys to get back in the swing of things and to prepare for this week against Ole Miss. And Weldon, I thought it was kind of surprising. You didn't seem to be so surprised by it, that Arkansas is a 5.5-point favorite. Yeah,
Arkansas is, and you know, when you look at these lines that Vegas sets, Vegas loves to overreact. I mean, Alabama, after beating Arkansas 52-0, opened up as a 40-something point favorite against Florida Atlantic, and they didn't cover that. And you look at Arkansas, what they did last time we saw them, basically scoring on Kentucky every single second. There's a little confidence in Vegas and Arkansas, maybe not so much from analysts and people like us. And Ole Miss, while they're improved, they're a solid team. They can do some different things on offense. They don't scare you. So when you look at them coming to Little Rock against an Arkansas team playing better on offense, I think it's a decent line, you know, not bad.
About 5.5. So I know we're not encouraging betting and, you know, whatever, but who would you take in that? If you had to give 5 points to Ole Miss, who would you take? 5.5 points.
That's a tough one. I probably wouldn't touch that, but if I did, I'd probably lean with Arkansas.
See, I'm thinking the same thing, but right now, you know, we'll have to look a little bit deeper at Ole Miss and their defense because right now Arkansas 12th in the country, 311 passing yards a game, but they're 107th in the country rushing. Will Arkansas be able to give that thread of balance? Will Ole Miss try their best to make Arkansas one-dimensional, take away the pass? I can see them running a shell game basically on Arkansas, saying throw it underneath, we're going to tackle you, we're going to let you run the ball because we're going to put 4 guys in the box. Now they ended up with more than that, but you know what I'm talking about. Ole Miss, 64th in the country in passing, 26th in rushing, 42nd in points for, and 65th in points against. They do give up 26.6 points a game. Weldon, we'll dig into it a lot deeper on Wednesday, though.
Yeah, we will. I mean, you look at that game against Alabama that Ole Miss played. The score didn't look bad, and they actually gave Alabama some fits early. And I think that's maybe why there's a little confidence in Ole Miss. But, Mark, I'll tell you what I like to do real quick. It's something I've kind of pondered over. Because with Arkansas, we look at the season, okay, it's great. We're a 4-loss team. Nobody really cares. Who's coaching this team next year? There are games that happen over the weekend that tell you, well, this coach's stock is up or it's down. A few games I had my eye on, Texas Tech And TCU last week, Tommy Tuberville gaining momentum. Gary Patterson is my guy. I think he's a lot of people's guy. Texas Tech edges him out. Florida winning. I think that impacts Kirby Smart because we're saying, okay, now we're seeing what Nick Saban assistants can do as head coaches. Maybe we want Kirby Smart. But my secret one, Mark, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They keep losing games. I believe Arkansas has already hired a coach that built a Big East power, went to the NFC South for 1 year, didn't like it, and came back. That's still out there as Tampa Bay still loses. I'd watch out for Greg Schiano.
Hey, you've been on that one the whole time. I don't know that I've heard anybody else say that, so we'd have to give you your props if that happened. One more thing that we wanted to hit today, Dwight Howard and the Lakers got the full team together. They had Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, Dwight Howard all starting yesterday, and it was a 99-92 loss. But Dwight Howard did have 19 points on 8 of 12 shooting with 12 rebounds, 4 blocks, 2 assists, played 33 minutes. So looks like the Lakers are going to get what they expected out of Dwight Howard. He's going to be fully healthy.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see how well he holds up throughout this year and what exactly comes of this super team.
I think Dwight Howard said he was about to cry or something after the game.
Are you serious?
I think he's so emotional. Yeah, I'm serious. And again, the Lakers will be good. Still want to see how the chemistry fits and see if they stay healthy.
All right, we're getting out of here for a Monday. We'll be back on Wednesday with our NFL Power Rankings, a lot more on the Razorbacks, and plenty that you can get involved with. Come back 11 o'clock for the Sports Blitz.